Good Monday morning to you, Facebook. It's been over a week since I came on, and I had a great vacation with my family. I got a lot of sun, got a lot of rest and relaxation, had a good time down the river. All my boys enjoyed the camp trip and the rafting. It was a lot of fun. Now the work begins to clean up after it, pick up after it. I got to still clean my camper, but I got the rest of it all put away pretty much. Wife started laundry on Saturday, and I think that's going to be continuing throughout this week to finish up. But it was a great week. We was able to get relaxed and rested up and be able to hit it again today. I wanted to come on today. I received tons of questions on plumbing from the viewers, so thank you. Appreciate that. I also want to thank everybody that watched the toilet paper and the baby flushable wipes video. It's reached over 300 views, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. I may repeat that one down the road just so those that didn't catch it can catch it. Also, remind you to go to YouTube and check us out. We are posting all of our lives on YouTube. So today I'm going to answer a question that I got asked by Aaron Stewart down in Salt Lake. The question is why do some areas in town have great pressure and other areas not so great water pressure? And that's a great question, and so in order to answer that, I got to kind of exactly what or how a city's water system is designed, okay? So first of all, you have your water treatment plant. So all the water, whether it come from a lake or a river or underground water or wherever the water's drawn in for the city, is taken to a treatment plant where it's chemically treated and nowadays mostly UV treated to sterilize it and make it clean to where we can use it in our home and it'd be safe of bacteria for us. So from there, it goes out to various holding tanks throughout the city. Tanks are usually gravity fed. Some of them, because there's no hills or higher elevations in town, some of them are not gravity fed and are fed via pumps. So the pressure in your home is based on two things. First of all, it'll be based on how close you are to a tank, a holding tank. And second of all, it'll be based on how close you are to the pump. Now, in the city of Rock Springs, we have a couple holding tanks. The water goes right to those holding tanks, and then we have numerous amounts of pump houses around town. And the way that works is the water goes from the tank into the pump house, and then the pump house pushes it through the main line at a certain pressure, and depending on where your house is at off of that main line is dependent on your pressure coming in your house. Now, the further away you get from that pump or the further away you get from those holding tanks, the less pressure you're going to receive because you're way down the line. The closer you are to those holding tanks or to those water pumps, the better your pressure is going to be. Now, that being said, there are codes in place that every new home and every home that we go into and look at is required to have a pressure reducing valve. So basically, the fixtures inside your home are rated up to 80 psi. They cannot go any more than 80 psi, pressures per square inch. That's how it's measured. And the reason that is if the rubber gets over 80 psi, it'll destroy the faucet. So it's recommended that it be 80 or less inside the home. We tend to put in 75-pound rated pressure reducing valves to make sure that it's less than 75 pounds coming through the home. So if you seem to have really weak pressure and you go down to wherever your meter's at and you look in that line and you see a pressure reducing valve, and the nut or the screw on that pressure reducing valve is out all the way, that means it's restricted all the way down. Now, the ones we use can restrict all the way down to 25, 35 psi. So if that's causing the restriction of pressure, you're only going to get 25 pounds per square inch in your home, or 35 pounds, depending on which one you have in your home. So if that screw or that bolt on top of the pressure reducing valve is all the way in, then it's cranked up to 75 psi, the max that we use, and that's why it's not going any higher than 75 psi. Now, we do water pressure test. We do it with a hose on the hose bibs. We test it with our gauge, and we see where the pressure's coming in. If that is anywhere 80 or plus, we are going to automatically recommend to our customers a pressure reducing valve. Now, in some areas, they're lucky to get 30 to 40 pounds of pressure coming in their home, and it's because of how far they are from the pump or how far they are from the holding tanks. So hopefully this has answered the question on why do I have little amount of pressure compared to other neighbors, or why do I have so much pressure compared to other neighbors. I know that the government now, so if your home's newer, within the last 10 to 15 years, the government now requires that the manufacturers of faucets and shower valves put inside the shower heads and inside the faucets itself a restrictor. Those are usually found within the area of the aerator or actually within the shower head. And that's to limit the use of water coming out of the faucet to bring it up to EPA and code standards. So if you feel like you have one shower that's having issues, there can either be two things that's going on. First of all, you got buildup inside your valve or inside your shower head, and that could be because you don't have a water softener and the calcium's gotten through, or the hard material has gotten through and it's plugged up your shower head, or it's plugged up your faucet, or you have a restrictor inside that shower head. Especially if it's a newer model, it'll have a restrictor in that shower head. And if you don't like the low pressure, you can remove the restrictor. It's simple. You just take off the shower head, and behind the shower head there's a little green restrictor or little blue restrictor, depending on which pressure it's rated to. Obviously the manufacturers sell different pressure ratings and different flow rates, so you can take that out and it will give you the full pressure of your home. Keep in mind that it's put in there for a reason, and that's to conserve water, which is a government regulated thing now. Same thing with our toilets. They're lower tanks than they used to be. They used to be 3-gallon flush. Now they're 1.6 or 1.3, depending on the actual manufacturer and the toilet brand. So hopefully this answered your question, Aaron. This is why we have fluctuations in pressures throughout towns, why one house might have more pressure than the other. It's all based on location, to the pump, and to the tank for the city. So if there's any more questions, feel free to give us a call, 307-922-4413, or drop us an email or even a tag on Facebook and let us know. We'd love to answer these questions. I've got some more coming up for you, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great Monday.